We chopped onions. I did that for about a year, and then I got the job for about a year in 2005 working for the elementary school.
And did you have a home during this period?
No, I became home free as soon as I went to Mexico in the summer of 2003, and I've been home free ever since.
Now, what's the difference between homeless and home free?
Well, it looks the same. Home free was a term given to me. I told somebody, I was sitting on the Borders bookstore in Hawaii, Kona, Hawaii one day, and I told somebody I was homeless, and he looked at me and said, no, you're home free. And I just stuck ever since. And I think it's more a frame of reference to your life, that homeless people, and in the beginning I was homeless.
You feel sorry for someone who's homeless.
Other people, well, people felt sorry for me, and I was home free. It's more of a perspective from within the person. So in the beginning when I first started, I was scared, I was worried, there was a little woe is me going on, even though I had chosen to do it. And as long as I was self-centered, I was homeless. But something happened pretty quickly, and I started realizing it was a privilege to make this choice and to live this way selflessly and to learn what I was learning. And then I became home free, because it became a positive thing, an enabling thing, as opposed to a degrading thing.
Well, there's also a slang term called home free.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the slang is, let's say, oh, he's home free, meaning he's going to make it easy to his goal.
Son of a gun. I never even realized that. But yeah, and that fits as well. Because when you choose to be home free, whether you have a home or not, you are home free.
Now, one of the team members asked that I asked you about, you recently did a fast. Did you fast because you had no money and no food, or did you fast for health and spiritual reasons?
I have regularly fasted for health and spiritual reasons to enable my journey to be more powerful since 2002. I've started doing regular fasts. And I just love it. The brain slows down. You really dial into oneness much more easily. It's a very peaceful process. And of course, you release a lot of toxins from your body. And you appreciate food more. I mean, the list is endless. This time I fasted for the first time purely selflessly because a good friend of mine was living with me in Hawaii and still is at my residence in Hawaii at the moment. And we had run out of food.
And how far were you away from a store to buy food?
Well, far away. I mean, it would have been feasible for him to get some money and earn it and go buy food, and yet the point was, it didn't matter, the logic of it, we were out of food. And we were picking avocados off the tree, which is nice to have, but you know, still, you would like more than avocados and lemons. You know, maybe that's part of human nature. And we were out, and we had just received a beautiful, unsolicited gift from a friend of 2 big bags of food. And so I knew I'd wanted to fast anyway, so I fasted. I didn't tell him this, but I fasted so that my friend would have less stress. I had lived a long time on faith, and I had complete faith and have experienced the truth that when you're in a selfless mode of being, you are provided for in mysterious ways. And he didn't really know that as deeply, and he was having stress with the whole we don't have any food thing. So this time I fasted in pretty unideal conditions for a fast for him. But because it was for him, it didn't matter that conditions were unideal, and I did fine.
And when you say it's unideal for a fast, what are ideal conditions for a fast?
Well, if you're doing it for spiritual growth, and this is only my opinion, I'm no expert on fasting, but I have done it for quite a few years. And for me, ideal conditions for a fast are when you are in a relatively calm environment in your life. Especially if you're just starting out, it might be difficult to fast if you still have to work full time. Maybe a vacation would be a good time to start. And it's a good time to have a lot of free time for introspection. And it's also relatively important physiologically to have really healthy food and the right foods when you come off the fast. Because your body, if it goes that long, even if it's just 5 days, and my fasts are generally 9 to 11 days, but if you go the 4 to 5 days where the toxins are released at day 4, you're going to have to come slowly back into sustenance from without, to food as sustenance. And if you don't have the right kind of foods, your stomach kind of screams at you and says, what in the world are you doing? And it can lead to some health problems. So, and I didn't have foods, and it was difficult coming off my fast.
And what are the foods you prefer to eat after a fast?
It's really apples, fresh ripe apples is a really good food. Vegetable broth is a really good food. Day 2 or so, it's good to have light salad. just a little bit of salad. We didn't have any salad. Mangoes would have been good. We had no mangoes. So I pretty much just had macadamia nuts and avocados and rice and oatmeal, which is fine after you've come off the fast. But my body did very kindly and sternly tell me never to do it again. But again, I was doing it for my friend. And because I was, the pain really wasn't that intense. It wasn't that big of a deal.
So would you consider foregoing food a form of service?
It's all about intention, right? It's not, my big experience has been it's not about what you do, it's about why you're choosing to do what you're doing. And here's a great example. This time, it was a service. It was intended to be such. Maybe it wasn't received as such because it was anonymous. Who knows how my friend took it? And yet, I saw that he had less stress, and that was my intention, and so it was a service.
You know, isn't that, at your workshop, didn't you mention doing anonymous acts of kindness? It's that, that service done in, anonymously is better off.
I wouldn't say it's better. Sometimes it's more powerful to be unanonymous. I mean, if you are loving an enemy, it's more powerful to come right up to them because it's more difficult. And the more difficult the selfless act, the more powerful it is.
I see.
And sometimes anonymous is very powerful. Anonymous is good because we have the tendency to do kind things and subconsciously do them to get reciprocity, right? We'll do a kind deed to feel good about ourselves or to think, see, somebody saw me do a kind deed and they compliment us behind our back or to be accepted. But if you do an anonymous kind deed, you're not getting anything back. No one knows you're doing it. And then it's an easy way to remember how good it feels, how peaceful it feels to do something good completely selflessly.
You know, I got to tell you, I almost did an anonymous act.
Almost.
The day after.
That counts too.
The day after your workshop, I'm taking a walk early Sunday morning, and I see a newspaper at a person's driveway, and I said, you know, they have to walk, you know, a couple hundred feet down the driveway. Why don't I take the newspaper, put it by the door, so all I have to do is open a door and the newspaper's there. But my voice inside my head said, yeah, but you can be walking on somebody's property, so I chose not to do it.
That's a funny example. I've done that deed before, and I got yelled at for trespassing. I have done that deed.
Yeah.
And again, and that's a perfect example because, first of all, there is no small good deed that is selfless, especially in our society where we are taught to be careful and cautious and to be wary of strangers and not to make eye contact. The smallest good deed is exceptionally powerful. So that even thinking, Jay, that you wanted to do it, beamed it out there. And even that thought was a powerful good deed. And if you had done it and been yelled at, like I have once before, for sorry, I was just delivering your paper for you, and get off my porch, you know. It doesn't matter, fortunately, if someone receives our good deed.
Yeah.
The good deed does its power whether the receiver actually appreciates it or not. The community feels it, witnesses often witness it, and you have immediately attained a level of peace just by the doing.
You know,